What's up, everybody? We're back. We're on to week 6?
Week 7.
Week 7. Week 7. Ugh. Yeah,
Going quick.
we just finished week 6. Yeah, the NFL is a third of the way through if there's 18 games. We just passed week 6. I think the trade deadline for the NFL is like October 30. It's right around Halloween. And when's ours? Ours is like almost Thanksgiving, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a few weeks after that.
You would think it's next week the way everyone was trading this week.
A lot of moving and shaking around the league.
Yeah, a lot of moving. Let's jump into last week. Mark, you beat me 107-91. We were both 3-3 in a very tight varsity division. You got 24 from Dak. That was his highest week. You got 11 from Zeke. That was his highest week. You got 0 from Najee. That's slightly under his average. On my side, Bijan, Diggs, Ridley, and Mark Andrews all underperformed their average. So you got a well-deserved win. I was concerned. I thought we might have had it going into Monday, but Dak won with his first run for a touchdown. So
Yeah, you had a couple guys who, like you said, they underperformed. I didn't get a lot out of my receivers. I didn't get a lot out of anyone other than Kelsey and Dak. So it was a pretty underwhelming game altogether.
a lot of underwhelming games all week. Jeff beat Joey 121-110. Jeff is now 6-0, and that 121 is the weekly high score. That's the lowest high score of the year. So, for Jeff, CMC got hurt. Kyron Williams got hurt. Does Jeff get to 7-0?
I think that's a question, and we talked about it last week. Who were the couple people that haven't got injured or been on the injury report? And did we jinx it? Because sure enough, here they are.
I think everyone got hurt this week at some point. Joey got 7 from Mixon fresh off his trade. Cup had 26. I guess he's back.
Yep.
Joey moves to 2-4. Jeff's in the driver's seat. Palmer lost to Abbott 100-97. Close game there. ETN with another good day. He got 21 points. ETN is the RB5 right now. Palmer had a bad day out of Hollywood. He got 5 points. Logan Thomas had .7. Is Palmer in trouble without Jefferson?
I think he's in big trouble without him. His second receiver was, I think, a problem to begin with. Although Jacoby Myers has been playing
A lot better than I would expect.
better than we thought. But if Jacoby's now his number 1, he was a question mark for me at number 2. So yeah, I think he's in trouble there.
For Abbott, Cousins with 11, down from his average of 22. Is Cousins in trouble without Jefferson?
Yeah, it didn't look like, I don't think Jordan Addison had a huge game. Alexander Madison, Abbott's second running back, didn't have a huge game. I think Minnesota's in trouble all around.
Yeah, I think so. Adams only got 3.9. Kenneth Walker got 16. Both teams moved to 4-2. Pat beat Kurt in the Civil War, 120-84. Pat got just under the high score, but it was a convincing win by 40. Kurt with a rough week. Eckler got 8. Higgins got 3. Higgins is wide receiver 64, and he's coming on a contract year. This might be enough to keep him in Cincinnati. He might have made us very affordable. Puka Nacua got 4. Montgomery got 3. Tucker had 18. He scored second highest on Kurt's team. Herbert had 20. Pat came in with Mostert with 34 and A.J. Brown with 18. Mari Cooper at 14. That's pretty much it. That was enough for Pat. He's going to ride his 5th win in a row. So his winning streak's at 5, and he moves into 5-1. The loss leaves Kurt at 2-4. Kurt lost 3 in a row. He's tumbling quick. 3 in a row is a lot, especially this early.
He's stumbling quick. He had Austin Eckler come back this week, so you thought it was going to be positive, but then he loses David Montgomery. He trades for Puka Nacua. He gets banged up. It might not just be his year.
Stu versus Tags. Tags falls 108-105. He got 28 from Tyreek Hill, 17 from Breece Hall, but the 26 from Amon-Ra and 25 from the ageless Adam Thielen did him in. Thielen's the wide receiver 6. Kittle got .6 points. We talked about this last week. He's boom or bust. His last line has been 3 points, 4 points, 12 points, 1 point, 26 points, .6 points. I don't like Kittle. This is why. But Congratulations on Stu on his first one. He's 1-5. Tags moves to that 2-4 threshold.
Yeah, you know what? I still like Kittle. Other than Kelsey, I guess Sam Laporta's having a really good year.
Yeah,
Rookie, nobody expected it. I don't like any of the tight ends.
Yeah, Andrews is doing okay. He gets
Not
drafted
great.
a little bit too high to be
Yeah.
doing what he's doing.
Kyle Pitts actually had a couple good games
Kyle
in a
Pitts
row
is
now.
after I cut him in my other league, he's trying to together a couple of
But
starts.
compared to Kelsey, nobody's even close. And I think the stats that Kittle puts up on his high weeks are good enough to put him in that top 5 or 6. Because really, on the other side, Dallas Goedert, who was supposed to be a good tight end, he has 6.7 points. So, he only outscores Kittle by 6 points, and Kittle doesn't even get a full point.
Yeah.
So,
The last game, Bry moves to 2-4 with a 110-83 win versus Jack. Jack also falls to 2-4. This is his 4th loss in a row. He started out 2-0. Excuse me. Lamar has 16 points, Kamara 13, Swift 15, CeeDee Lamb 17, 15 from his kicker. Jack had Mahomes with only 16. Henry had a good day. He got 18. On last week, I went 3-3. You went 4-2 on our predictions. Just a quick breakdown. Division 1. Right now, the playoff hunt would be Pat, Palmer, and myself. Division 2 is Jeff, Abbott, and Joey. Jeff has the highest points for with 794. Stu has the lowest points for at 572. Jeff has the lowest points against at 563. So the highest for, lowest against, that's going to get you all a bunch of wins, and that's accurate. Tags has the highest points against at 734. Just to have everyone know what's happening in the leagues. Moving on to this week.
got to change notebooks.
I do that at work because I didn't have anything to do today, and I brought this notebook with me. The first game is Tags versus me. I played you last week. I played Tags this week, so it's a big rivalry stretch for me. He's projected 92, but he's sitting there with Rico Dowdle in, and he's not. He's on a bye this week. Garrett Wilson's on a bye this week. Damian Pierce is on a bye this week. Breece Hall was on a bye this week. Jackson Smith and Jigba is not great. Quentin Johnson is really dropping his opportunity with Mike Williams out. Johnson's doing nothing. Tank Dell's on a bye.
True.
So I have a feeling Tax is either going to eat a loss here, but at 2-4, I don't know if he can afford that, or he's going to have to do a lot of shifting. And I got to tell you, whoever he drops outside of Quentin Johnson, I'm probably going to try to pick up. So I'm not sure if it's a good move or not.
Maybe he needs to make a trade.
Well, that's not going to happen. On my side, I got Lawrence versus New Orleans. I don't love that matchup. Diggs versus New England. Ridley versus New Orleans. Ridley's been very up and down, mostly down. He had a couple big weeks. His first week, he had a great game, but since then, not fantastic. We were talking about Mark Andrews. He's actually tight end 4, averaging 11.9, and he missed week 1, so that average is a little bit off. Addison versus San Fran, not a good matchup. I don't have great matchups. Tagmeyer doesn't have great players. So I'm going to continue to take myself because it feels like the right thing to do.
Yeah, I'm taking you as well. It's a pretty rough lineup for Tags this week, considering all the buys.
Yeah, this is his bad bye week, it looks like.
And then even Jonathan Taylor, you would think maybe this is his week to kind of break out. He's playing Cleveland, so it's not going to happen.
What about Brock Purdy? I'm assuming McCaffrey might not play, Debo might not play, Kittle is this an up week for Kittle? I don't know. Minnesota's defense isn't great, but
you would think this would be a get-right week for San Francisco, but I didn't like the way they played last week against Cleveland. They're on the road again on a Monday night, so I still think Purdy, he's proven himself to be a good system quarterback. Who knows if he's an elite guy who can win a game by himself. They have a ton of talent around him, so I think we'll see this week. But other than Tyreek Hill, I'm not in love with anything I see out of Tag starters.
And even Tyreek versus Philly, that's not great.
I think that'll be high scoring.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe it'll push the scoring up. But Philly has, if he's on Darius Slay, not that anyone can really cover Tyreek, but at some point you have to stop this guy.
I think on the flip side, I do think I think Baltimore beats Detroit this week. I think you get a better game out of Andrews than 2 weeks ago when he played the Steelers. Diggs, it seems like anytime Diggs has a great game, they lose. Diggs has an okay game, they win. I think they're gonna win. Diggs will be fine. Yeah, I like your lineup a lot better than what I'm seeing out of the general this week.
There's something I wanted to say. I don't remember what it was. Oh, no, I don't know what it was. I can't
Fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't want to go back. I rewatched it, and I think I talked over you a lot, so I didn't want to do that. And then I forgot about it. Next game is Abbott versus Jeff. Big game for the minor leagues, the JV division. Again, Jeff sitting with McCaffrey, questionable. Olave's questionable. I think Olave's playing, though. I don't think McCaffrey's going to play. Rashard White versus Atlanta. Waddle versus Philly. Hawkinson versus San Fran. Matchups aren't awful. He's projected 126. Looking over at Abbott's, he's only projected 95. He's missing 2 players somewhere. What are we missing here?
Kicker and a D.
Kicker in his defense, and he's going to have to make 2 moves there. Pollard's on a bye. Freiermuth's supposed to be back. He has 2 tight ends on the bench. He's sitting with 3 tight ends right now. Jonnu Smith, Freiermuth, Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is not what he used to be. He can probably get cut. I would assume if Freiermuth stays healthy, he's a starter. Davante Adams versus Chicago. So Jimmy G left in an ambulance, and Davante Adams I don't think did anything. What did he get last week?
I know he took a big hit.
He got 3.9 points. So I don't know there. Alexander Madison versus San Fran's not great. Cousins versus San Fran. Keenan Allen versus KC. KC's defense got better. They seem decent. Their offense isn't as good, but I think their defense is better. Tyler Lockett versus Arizona. Tyler Lockett needs to get going. He's not having a good season. I'm going to take Jeff to remain at 7-0.
You know what? I want to take Jeff too. I don't know. I'm split on this because, like we talked about, I could see Tua having a tough game at Philly. I could see it being high scoring, but I could see that Philly defense really giving him a hard time. McCaffrey's a big question mark. Rashard White, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yes, I believe so.
You know what? I thought Jeff won that trade, and I do think he did, but it's closer than I thought. Looking into White, he's only scored in double digits 1 game, so I don't think that he is used as much in Tampa as I really expected. I do like Olave, Waddle, and Hawkinson and Evans. On the flip side, I still like Walker. Keenan Allen's having a great year. I didn't expect him to do what he's doing.
He seems like the old guys. Thielen, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's not an old guy, but he's a veteran that's played quite a while. I was going to say the number 2s, DK Metcalf isn't having a great year. T. Higgins isn't having a great year. Devonta Smith isn't having a great year. It's the scoring's down. I wanted to say, as of last week, 59% of the NFL games hit the under. That's the highest it's ever been since they kept that stat. So it's translating to fantasy because we had the lowest high score last week. So the scoring's going down.
I'm gonna go with Jeff. As much as I want to pick Matt, I don't like the Minnesota matchup against San Francisco's defense. He has 2 guys from Minnesota there, and then his defense is the high-scoring defense. The Cowboys, they're on bye, so I got to go with Jeff.
Next one, Grants Union Army. It's Pat versus Palmer with the Crumb Snatchers. Pat's projected 115 to 84. Palmer is missing 2 people. Who, you ask? His kicker's on a bye, and he does not have an active quarterback. Deshaun Watson's on his roster. I don't know what his deal is. And C.J. Stroud's on a bye. So Palmer's going to have to make a move at a quarterback. And again, Jefferson, Godwin, Roschon Johnson, Justice Hill, Downs, Palmer. I guess you could probably get rid of Deshaun Watson. But you need a kicker. So I guess you can cut his current kicker. For Pat, Jalen Hurts versus Miami. James Cook has a bad matchup versus New England. Mostert has a tougher matchup against Philly, but it almost seems that Mostert's matchup proof. A.J. Brown versus Miami. That's probably going to be a high-scoring game, like you said. Amari Cooper versus Indy. Who knows who the quarterback is? David Njoku. I don't know if he's going to do it a couple weeks in a row. Then Kareem Hunt. So he has a lot of Browns.
Yeah, going
heavy
3
on the
Browns.
I just realized that. Bills versus New England. He'll probably outscore Palmer just with his defense. I like ETN. Jacobs is okay. That's it. I don't think Palmer has any chance in this game. I'm taking Pat, probably pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm taking Pat pretty easy. And looking at his lineup, I don't know. He only has Buffalo Bills, Cleveland Browns,
And Eagles.
Eagles, and then one Miami. He only has 3 games worth of players,
Hmm.
which is interesting.
Very.
Um, not very diverse. So hoping,
Do you think? I've asked this a couple times already. So Raheem Mostert's number 2. He averages 23 points. Would you trade for Raheem Mostert right now?
I would.
You would?
Yes.
You think Raheem Mostert? Are you getting him?
No, I
Oh,
wish.
I thought you were trading Miles Sanders for him.
No, I don't,
Do
I'm
you
not
think
doing
Raheem Mostert keeps this up?
that. You know what? I don't see why not. I mean,
Well, I
A-Chain
think
or
Jeff
whatever.
Wilson's back, but it seems like every time, like I don't think the touches are huge, but he always breaks a long touchdown. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Now he has 9 touchdowns in 6 games. That can't. Oh, I'm sorry, and 2 receiving touchdowns. He has 11 touchdowns in 6 games. He almost has 2 touchdowns a game. I just have a hard time believing that sticks. And maybe, but at Philly, New England, at KC, by Vegas, Jets. I mean, it's not an awful.
No,
It gets
and
a
then,
little bit tougher. So he played Denver, Buffalo, the Giants. Buffalo's decent. In Buffalo, he scored 6 points. So Denver, he scored 41. Carolina, he scored 34. New England was 29. That's still a pretty good day. But I was going to say, seems like he's crushing he's absolutely dominating the bad teams. And
well, the thing that worries me, and this is a lot with running backs anymore, is they have a lot, A-Chain was there, and it seemed like he took over the number one
yeah,
role until he got hurt, and it seemed like Mostert might have been phasing out. It's really just hard to tell who they're going to give the ball to. They have Hill, they have Waddle, they have Mostert, they have a couple other running backs. When healthy, you don't know who they're going to play. So every time you think that Mostert might be phased out, they bring him back in. He breaks a long run and then
yeah,
scores a lot. So, I mean, I think until you see them really favor someone else in the run game, you got to stick with them.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. If you're Pat, you definitely stick with him.
Yeah.
But like, I would be scared to like if Pat said, "Hey, I'll trade you Mostert," I'd be very hesitant.
It's hard though not to look past these. What, the second running back?
Yeah,
Like it's
running back too.
like you look on the other side and you see ETN, who's another good back. ETN to me is the lead back in Jacksonville by
He's the
far.
only back in Jack. I would take
Right.
ETN over Mostert.
So you think about, okay, Mostert's a better offense, but you never know who they're going to play at running back, although he scores a ton. ETN, he's the workhorse down there. So I guess it's kind of pick your poison.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at even yardage. So rushing yards, 37, 121, 82, 9, 65, 100, 115. So his big games, he had over 100 yards on 17, 18 carries.
Oh,
But Buffalo, he had 7 carries for 9 yards, and he scored 6 points. So that Buffalo defense held him in check. I don't remember how that game went. Miami, they must have had probably the tiebreaker had 6 touchdowns or something. Yeah, I think we're both taking Pat. I think that's an
Yeah.
obvious one. Next game, you're up, man. The Swifties, 3-3 versus Army of North Virginia. Kurt's 2-4. You currently don't have a quarterback.
I did not.
You do not. So Debo's questionable. That's part of what Debo sucks is it's Monday night. So you almost have to make a decision before the 1 o'clock, and you can't wait for him to come out and say what's what. Najee versus the Rams. I'm curious to see what Aaron Donald does. I haven't seen Aaron Donald since the Super Bowl. Be cool to see what he does, if he still has it or not. Robinson versus Jets is probably a decent thing. We talked about Metcalf versus Arizona. It's a good matchup, but Metcalf is only averaging 11, so let's see if he can't come out of this one. DJ Moore. Now, are you concerned with Justin Fields being hurt?
I'm a little concerned, especially DJ Moore's the ranked 3
18.9
receiver.
points, yeah.
It's funny. I was looking at this today. I guess now's the time to bring it up. I think I might have the best receiving core in the league. 4 deep. 4 or 5 deep. Because if you go with three, and here's the thing, I have 2 receivers in the top 10. Okay, and if I
I'm
ask
trying to
you
find your
that,
other one.
Nico
Nico
Collins, yes,
hasn't Nico been falling off quite a bit?
he might have had 11 points or
Yeah,
something last
5 points, 10.
So
Okay, I mean,
if I told you I had 2 in the top 10, you would probably say it's Debo and DK. Neither one of them,
Actually, if you ask me, I wouldn't say that.
neither one of them are. And so I have 4 receivers in the top 35.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who has that.
I think I don't have 4.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I have the 4 deep
Well,
because I would pick like Jamar Chase and AJ Brown, or Tyreek Hill and Garrett Wilson, but they don't have a third one. Amari Cooper is, but nobody has that 4th one. And when I looked and saw
I
that,
have 4 in the top 25.
who's your 4?
Diggs is number 2. Ridley is currently 24.
Addison
Addison's 25.
and
George Pickens is 16.
you just never play him.
Well, I can't. I have too many good receivers.
I don't
And
know
I
if
tried
that's any
offering
good.
him. I tried to get a second running back, but Palmer is, impossible to deal with.
I don't like your receivers though.
Well, you don't need to like you. Okay, you don't like my receivers. That's fine. I'm just. You said you had what, 4 in the top 40 or whatever, or 35?
35.
Well, I
You have 4
in the top 25.
Well, you might want to try and move one of them.
Maybe I can trade for Miles Sanders. How do you like a kicker, Jake Moody? Because I feel like you need a kicker this week too.
Me?
You do need. Yeah, you have your kicker's on a bye as well. I'm on the other side. Justin Herbert versus Casey. Eckler versus Casey. T. Higgins on a bye. Puka versus Steelers. I'm interested. I'm really interested to see that game. I want to see keeping up with. I mean,
Is he hurt?
he doesn't have any designation.
Okay.
Montgomery is hurt versus Baltimore. I don't think he's playing. So he's sitting right now with T. Higgins and David Montgomery not playing. He has Drake London. Drake London might find his way onto the field now. But I don't know. Chuba Hubbard's on a bye. Romeo Dobbs. He doesn't have, I guess, I don't know. Much I hate to say. Well, no. I don't hate to say. You're going to adjust your quarterback, and I'm going to take you in that one. I don't love Kurt's team. It's not. It's just too much of like the same stuff.
I like Herbert, Eckler, and Pacheco. I'm not sold on T. Higgins this year, obviously. Puka, I think, was a good pickup for Mixon. I think that was a fair trade all around. But
I would rather have Mixon than Puka.
I go back and forth because Mixon, you could argue with
You're
his
also
4th
talking to a
running
guy
back.
with 4 in the top 25, so I don't. It's a hard,
Yeah, you would need him. Yeah, your second running back is.
Yeah, so I would absolutely take Mixon.
Yeah, so you could have made that trade.
Yeah, I guess I could have, but I don't have Kurt's number, and he doesn't. I offered him trades years ago, and he didn't.
I've offered him a trade every day last week.
And did he respond to any of them?
On ESPN, no.
Yeah.
But I think your brother got his number because there was a text message sent to me.
Well, Joey texted me and asked if I had Kurt's number. I said,
He
"Why would I
sent
have
me
Kurt's
the
number?"
same text, and I told him I could send him Kurt's address because Kurt lives. You'll pass his house on the way
I
out of
wonder
here.
why Pat doesn't add him to our fantasy football group chat. It's definitely a mind game, so he has first dibs on him to offer trades and stuff.
But I don't even think they've made a deal either.
But I think he wants to.
How did Joey get his number?
He apparently text Pat,
Mm.
or he looked like called information. He might have looked in the what do they call the records of the war? He looked for he could find his dog tags from the Civil War.
I'm going me though. Yeah.
Good move. No explanation needed. I think Herbert starts getting a really tough schedule too. So it's gonna be Herbert and Eckler. So he might be in some trouble. Next game, return doubtful 2-4 versus Stu 1-5. Dirty Sanchez. Mahomes versus the Chargers. Algier versus Tampa. Newly acquired Algier. Newly acquired Ezekiel Elliott versus Buffalo. Tough matchups for both of them guys. Devonta Smith, we talked about him. That number 2 receiver's not working well for teams. Evan Ingram, who's been pretty decent. I like him. Kendrick Bourne versus Buffalo. I have to look up Kendrick Bourne. I don't know what he's averages 9.5 points. I don't like anyone from New England. except for Zeke at this point if Ramondre gets traded. Gabe Davis. I like Gabe Davis, but he's another number 2. He's actually probably the best number 2. He's ranked 19th right now. On the other side for Stu, Burrow's on a bye. Not sure if he'll start him. Barkley versus Washington. Charbonnet versus Arizona. Amon-Ra is back. He's versus Baltimore. But Thielen's on a bye. Kittle versus Minnesota. Ayuk, Monday night. So he needs a quarterback and a receiver. He has Hopkins on a bye. He has Juju and Russell Wilson. Even with Juju and Russell Wilson, I think I want to take Jack, but that Barkley and Amon-Ra can really do some damage. And if Ayuk's the only receiver, actually, I think I am. I think I'm gonna. Well, I don't know that Stu's gonna change his lineup. I'm gonna take Jack if Stu doesn't change his lineup.
I'm gonna take Stu.
And you have to text them Sunday morning.
Yeah. I mean,
is Jack in our division? Jack is in our division.
I like Mahomes. I like Algier and Elliott. If I could, I'd have both of them on my team.
You should try to get them.
I'm not sold on Jack's receivers or his tight end at this point.
Oh, Derrick Henry's on a bye.
Yeah.
Deontay might be back this week. I think I got to see Deontay once. He has a lot. Derrick Henry's on a bye. Traylon Burks is on a bye. Cam Akers is on Minnesota. DJ Chark's on a bye. Dalton Schultz is on a bye. He has Michael Wilson, a receiver for Arizona.
Russell Wilson on Stu's side,
Russell Wilson's been playing. Points. He's quarterback 8 right now. He's better than Lawrence. I was looking to pick him up, and then I saw Stu had him. I'm like, I'm not even going to offer him a trade. He's not going to look at it.
Aaron Jones, if he's healthy, he can plug him in at the flex position, move Ayuk to his receiver. So I think he can make some moves if everyone plays to have a decent lineup. So I'm going Stu.
Last game on the slate, Joey versus Bry, 2-4, 2-4. A lot of 2-4 teams. Josh Allen versus New England with a questionable designation. Jahmyr Gibbs at Baltimore, but I thought he was a little banged up. Ramondre Stevenson at Buffalo. That's Stevenson at home versus Buffalo. That's a tough one. Kupp versus Pittsburgh. That should be decent. Zay Flowers versus Detroit. I think on the surface that looks good, but you can't really count on targets from Baltimore receivers. Sam Laporta at Baltimore. Sam Laporta's really good, but now if the linebackers are going to cover him, that's Queen and Roquan. It's going to be by far his toughest matchup. We'll see what he can do. Terry McLaurin at the Giants. I forgot Terry McLaurin existed. He currently is 38th receiver, 9.3 points. Not a huge fan. Looking at his bench, Christian Kirk. I think Christian Kirk is almost a must start. He's been on fire for... He's ranked 20th. I thought he has been really well.
They're the dogs again.
The dogs are there. So 1 point week 1, 18, 13, 12, 11, 12. So, I don't know. On the other side, for the rough catch, Lamar Jackson versus Detroit. Kamara versus Jacksonville. That's a tough matchup. I don't think Jacksonville lets much running, but I think Kamara gets a lot of catches. Swift versus Miami. That's a pretty good matchup. CeeDee Lamb's on a bye. KJ Osborne. Cole Kmet, Cortland Sutton. He has a couple names on here. Chubb's still on his roster. Kyle Pitts, Jalen Warren, Gus Edwards, Love. I'm probably going to take... Man, he doesn't have that. Losing CD is a tough one. He is going to have to do Rondell Moore. Who's in his flex? Sutton's in his flex. He can move Sutton.
Why not put Watson in?
He can move Sutton to Lamb and then put anybody. And he can put Christian Watson in versus Denver. Yeah. Maybe Jalen Warren at the Rams. What's Jalen Warren? 34th. 7.
Yeah, this is a tough game.
I think it's a real tough game.
Especially with Allen's banged up, Gibbs is banged up. Stevenson had a big game last week. It's New England, though, so you never... Yeah, he got hurt. I thought he was out for the game when he got hurt, and he came back and took all the carries and scored all the touchdowns in the second half.
He got hurt. Zeke scored. I lost. When Zeke scored, I knew I was going to lose.
Well, and then I thought Zeke was going to have a huge game. Zeke didn't play in the second half after that. Yeah, Stevenson came back. I thought he was knocked out of the game. And Stevenson had a touchdown or two after that point.
I think I'm going to take Joey based off of Allen and Kupp, maybe Stevenson. I don't know. The Buffalo defense is tough. I'm going to take Joey. It's going to be an uphill battle to replace CeeDee Lamb at this point.
I'll go opposite and pick Bry. I think it's a toss-up.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Europe.
So this week's rankings are brought to you by Jakey Crack Outdoors. I know Jake's watching. We might have a fishing report to you.
We don't have a fishing report. I asked the guy to do one thing. He can't do it. All Tagmar does is plays video games and smokes weed.
Well, we apologize, Jake. No fishing report for you this week, but we do have the power rankings brought to you by Jakey Crack Outdoors.
So it's getting cold and it's raining. That's probably bad for fish. I would say season's over.
I agree.
Bingo.
Put some bread on the line.
Dough ball.
There you go. McDonald's fries.
Do we have a skunk update?
I'm waiting for it.
No skunk.
It's not there, but I'm waiting for it. Here we go. Coming in at number 12, we have a new number 12 this week.
How?
The losers
I'm sorry, because Stu won last week, yeah.
Losers of 4 in a row return doubtful.
Whew.
We got Jack in at 12. He's dealt with a lot of injuries. He's had a rough couple weeks here, and with Stu winning, him losing, he's dropping down a spot. Coming in at number 11, no surprise. It's hard to jump up much after losing 5 in a row. Stu, he gets his first win. He's out of the basement. Going to need a couple more to move anywhere faster than that. Coming in at number 10, and one of the biggest drops of the week is Kurt, the Army of North. Another one we talked about, he made a move last week, and immediately Puka gets a little banged up in that game. He has a lot of question marks, dealing with a lot of injuries as well, and he lost 3 in a row. Coming in at number 9 and dropping a spot, one of the lowest showings for this guy, the General.
Ooh.
The General, it's going to be another rough week for him too, because the buys. He has a pretty weak lineup we saw. Now who knows? Maybe he wins because I say that and jinx myself. But I wouldn't be surprised if the General drops again next week. Coming in at number 8, dropping just one spot, Cup of Joe. He's been fighting all year right around the middle of the pack here. He made a good move last week, but it didn't pan out. He's kind of, I think the one thing he has going for him is being in that JV division. It looks like somebody's going to make the playoffs with a losing record over there. So
I wouldn't be shocked.
He's still sitting in 3rd place, but he doesn't have a winning record yet. Coming to number 7, moving up, one of the biggest jumpers of the week, the Rough Cats. They moved up 4 spots.
Wow.
Braga, I still think he has a good lineup. I still think he can make some moves. So I think the game between him and Joey this week is really going to mean a lot. They're both sitting at 2 and 4. I think the winner of that game actually has a pretty strong hold of going to the playoffs in that division. Coming in at number 6, dropping 1 spot, losers of 1 in a row, is Batting Lawn.
That's not 1 spot. I was 4th, so I dropped to 6.
2 spots.
Yeah.
2 spots, sorry. You dropped 2 spots. Yeah, you lost last week in a tough game. Right now, you're still sitting on the edge of the playoffs. I think we still got a few weeks ahead. Again, I think there's 3 teams fighting for 2 playoff spots in the varsity division.
I would agree with that. I think Pat has it pretty well locked up until Raheem Mostert falls off a cliff.
Coming in at number 5 and dropping 2 spots, losers of 1 in a row, the Crumb Snatchers. We talked about it. The Crumb Snatchers were sniffing around the top of the power rankings for a few weeks now. But his lineup, really, with the Jefferson injury, I think it's a tough lineup. And
it's going to be real hard to come back from that.
Just like I talked about a few weeks ago, I didn't think Abbott's team was going to stick around the top long. I didn't think the Crumb Snatchers were going to stay at the top long either. And I think we're starting to see that slide.
Okay.
Coming in at number 4, winners of 1 in a row, moving up 1 spot, the Swifties. The Swifties, in a tough division matchup last week, beat you, Batting Lawn. They're now kind of working that last playoff spot. I made a couple moves over the past 2 weeks too that I really like. So I think the Swifties are really starting to hit their stride. 3-1 over the last month, so that's the reason they're number 4. Coming to number 3, Abbott, S.A. Quarantine. Won one in a row. He's been kind of on this side of the playoffs the entire time, on this side of the bracket the entire time. He's in that JV division. I think that's really helping him out right now. They only have 2 teams with a winning record. Although he's dealing with Kirk Cousins and Minnesota dilemma, I don't see much. He's already had 4 wins. He's probably going to make the playoffs with 7 or 8. So he's already halfway there. Coming in number 2, no surprise at the top. Winners of 5 in a row, Grant's Union Army. And then at number 1, hodgepodge of nothingness. Winners of 6 in a row. Jeff is dealing with some injuries, but until he gets knocked off, really no change there.
Yep, I agree. You mentioned trades. There was a few trades. You traded Jack. You acquired Miles Sanders and gave up Ezekiel Elliott and Tyler Algier. Crumb Snatchers traded Rashard White to Jeff for Josh Palmer. And Army of Northern Virginia traded Joe Mixon to Joey for Puka Nacua. So a lot of movements this week. I think that pretty well wraps up the fantasy portion of the show.
Yeah, no. Waiver wires are tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
So
And there should be a lot. There was 10 injuries last week?
a lot of injuries, a lot of buys. You have 4 receivers in the top 25, so why you're not moving one of them and starting Jerick McKinnon?
I like Jerick McKinnon. He's the Ezekiel Elliott. If he scores a touchdown for me, I win the week. That's all. That's all I need.
I mean, you could trade George Pickens and probably get a solid number 2 running back.
I tried. You know who I got offered? Rashard White. I'm not taking Rashard White. He's as good as
Well, you need to
McKinnon.
try other people.
Branching
apparently.
up. No one has
Yeah.
running backs to trade.
Sure they do.
Well, I'll look into it later. You watching anything?
I watched Casper.
How was that? The live action Friendly Ghost?
Yes,
That was an older movie.
it was.
Was it on TV or did you look it up?
It's on Netflix.
Okay. So you rolled through. Was it a family night?
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't watch it by yourself.
No.
How was the popcorn? I saw that on
Popcorn
Instagram.
was very
I
good.
did see that. With butter?
Yeah,
Okay, well I didn't
I
know.
hope so.
I
mean,
assumed it was
salt,
a.
maybe coconut oil. I don't know.
I was trying to think of the word coconut. So I watched Shane Gillis stand up the other night. Beautiful Dogs. That's. It's
How was it?
It's very funny. It's very offensive.
Well,
And I think that's what makes it funny. It was good. And we're also watching right now Fall of the House of Usher.
how is it? I saw it advertised last
So
night.
it's not scary. The scary parts are just weird jump scares that don't seem like they make any sense. But we just watched episode 3 and it makes sense why these things are happening. It's not clever. It's just a jump scare to be a jump scare. But it's Succession basically. It's
Never watched that.
Succession's an excellent show as well. It's about a father who owns a pharmaceutical company that makes painkillers that kills people and it's super addictive, so everybody hates him, but everybody in the family has to protect themselves and try to manipulate and move up the ladder. It's pretty good. It's not.
Maybe I'll watch it.
It's I think eight parts, maybe 6 parts. But
The big storyline in the NFL this week was that superfan for the Chargers fake.
yeah, I saw that it was. I didn't read the article. I don't care. Roger Goodell just signed a 3-year extension. I saw that.
Good.
It's as popular as it's ever been. Scoring is way down. There's games on Sunday morning at 9:30. It's a worldwide phenomenon, so I guess you can't do anything but pay the guy.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think there's no. I think London's done now. I think
London's
Germany's
done.
next.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This
what it
year?
is, though. I think London's done this year. They had 3 games. They're already done. And I believe Frankfurt is next, and I don't know if there's anywhere else they're going or not.
I don't mind a 9:30 game.
I like it if I'm.
Usually it's not a good game though.
Yeah. Even Baltimore, Tennessee, that was a pretty sloppy. It's hard for them. I mean, they're traveling to a different country. Any good high school matchups this week? Friday Night Lights? You looked yet?
You know what? I didn't. I saw
It's a
something.
little early in the week.
I saw something tweeted out about a few of the matchups. I can't remember. I think there are a couple good ones. I just don't know right now.
Excellent.
Next
I
week,
think next week we get treated to your Halloween costume.
it's the Halloween edition.
What's the 18th? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, nclfantasy@gmail.com. Questions, fishing reports, Sasquatch sightings. No Sasquatch sightings.
There's never been one, actually.
So is Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and Yeti all the same thing?
I believe so. It's just different names to confuse different people, all fake.
I thought Yeti is like exclusively.
You
in the
drink out of a
cold.
Yeti.
Well, I think that's why they did it, 'cause it keeps it cold, unless it's a hot beverage. But I thought Yetis were in exclusively cold areas. I don't know.
They're all not real. I'd rather listen to a fishing report than hear about a Sasquatch sighting.
I hope the banging's off the table. We got a little foam pad for the microphone, so we don't. I noticed I was banging the table.
When are we getting the skunk?
I'll have to. That's a question that will be answered hopefully after this podcast. Now,
I'd really like to put it right here.
it would be amazing. I almost want it to sit so it can sit on the table, but I do want it like crawling out.
I kind of want to put it on the wall, so because I definitely won't tell Tara,
I was gonna say.
and then she's just gonna come down here one day and freak out, and it's gonna be fantastic.
Jake, we're talking to you. Maybe next week we'll have a skunk. See ya.
Adios.